podcasts and Bible studies and powerful sessions together. You know, you'll definitely get to where the Holy Spirit wants you to be financially if you're willing to be patient and to make those necessary decisions daily that he will impress on your heart. You know, the Lord is aware that when people start off walking in the will of God, that you may not know everything that he's saying to you. He's aware of that. So when you first start off your walk on the journey to your promised land, your land flowing with milk and honey, the Lord is aware that there's certain things that you will have to develop and exercise your soul in walking, in knowing his voice and making the decisions that he wants. So he does give you that breathing space when you first start off. But as you are engaging the Lord, he strengthens the ability for clarity of his voice within your soul. So it doesn't take long. It's not a long process. It's just when you become fully focused. When I say that he gives you time, it means that you have to get away from sin, because sin, it makes you deaf. It makes the voice of God difficult to comprehend, because in sin, you're listening to the flesh, the feelings of the body, and the demons that are attached to the feelings of the body to get you into wrong decisions. So now you're operating in another pathway, another programming, so it will take you time to know the voice of God now, because it's foreign to you. You know, even religiously, sometimes you can say that you know God since your youth, but oftentimes, like since your youth, you have a lot of things that you're doing that the Lord don't have no pleasure in. So there is a realm of your soul that is in agreement with the devil, and that agreement has to break if you're going to experience the 100-fold and the 1,000-fold return in this life. Where do we see the 1,000-fold return? We see it in Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 11. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 11 is talking about the Lord will give you 1,000 times more. That's the 1,000-fold. So in Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 11, around Moses' day, the Lord was talking about causing you to be blessed 1,000 times more. Now just think about it. Remember, Malachi said that the person, remember he was prophesying, the Lord said, if you would try me in sowing and honoring me, he said, won't I open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing? Now, just think about it. He said that the blessing that he will pour you out, there wouldn't be no room enough for you to receive it. So one blessing in itself is too much for you to handle. It's overflowing, it's overwhelming, it's overcoming. Now, think about if we deal with the ratio mathematically of one blessing being overflow, it's being equivalent to wealth and riches. Imagine God blessing you 1,000 times more. So, you know, oftentimes there could be a ignorance in this department, because like people are not really thinking. Like if you see somebody with a lot of possessions and they've been blessed by the Lord, and like the first thing that Satan would attempt to do with your mind is to tell you that that person is proud and, you know, they worldly and they carnal. Now, so, but what really happens to a person if God blesses them 1,000 times more? What really happens to them? One blessing was going to be more than they had room enough to receive. Now, just think about God blessing them 1,000 times more. So now this person is in the avenue of an exceedingly rich life, an exceedingly wealthy life, that God is no respecter of person. He doesn't just give it to people according to a certain position that they have alone, like you got to have a certain position to get there. He gives it to whosoever will. So like you could be an older person right now on governmental assistance, on Medicare, all that stuff, like Obamacare, whatever, even though Obama don't care. But you could be on all type of stuff from the government. Despite being on that stuff, You can qualify and be a candidate of this 1,000 times more credentials. It doesn't matter if your life look like you're older in years. That's why it's so dangerous, because when people get older in years, they start accepting how their life is going. So people start banking on retirement plans, 401ks, governmental assistance. And let me just tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, that's a curse. Because now your faith is not working in the power of God in the realm of provision. And that's a trick of the enemy. Let me just show you another thing. Being on food stamps necessarily is not something that is bad per se. Like, we can't define it good or bad per se, because every